Back in November 2024, we launched something new, and it's called the Lead Development as a Service. Now, over the last few months since launching, we have generated some awesome results for our clients. And I thought I would take you through a bit behind the scenes of what we've built, how it's working, and what we've learned so far in line with some of the results that we've generated. Now, some of our clients, we've seen 63 meetings booked within 5 months. We've seen a $1.1 million pipeline for one client in 6 months, 6-ish months. And we've seen somebody else report a 1,500% or 1,497% ROI on their investment made for lead development as a service. So all pretty awesome results. And we are still in that kind of 6, 7, 8 month mark of delivering and running this service, which is very exciting to report on. I thought I'd start off by sharing why we launched lead development as a service in the first place, and then take you through kind of what we've done over the last 6 months-ish, and then share some real results and then some takeaway and key lessons, which I believe that anybody can apply in their business. We obviously have the beauty of delivering. So we are a training and facilitation, training enablement organization. And then we've also then got obviously this lead development as a service. So we get to see and train and support organizations, and then we get to see, train, and support our own team. And when we bring both of those together, we're seeing both sides of the coin, which is awesome. It gives us a lot more insight and a lot more intel. For me, this lead development as a service is probably one of the most exciting things we've launched within the business. The business is now 5. So 5 years in business supporting organizations, which is very exciting. And the reason why I'm so excited about this is because within the market, we saw a gap, and we're listening all the time. We're listening to what people want, to what people need. And they needed more than just tools, and they needed more than just training. And they wanted us to support them further. And I started the business from people wanting me to help them sell. So they wanted to hire me so I could go in and I could sell for them. Now, that's great in principle, but I'm only one person. And yes, AI and robots and things like that today, awesome. Maybe we can create a few more Harriets and we'll put them out there in the world. I'm not sure if the world's quite ready for that yet, but we can put them out in the world. They can go sell. They love selling, and then they can follow the processes and they can follow them to the letter and get it done because we can program them that way. But for now, while we don't have the robots and we don't have multiple Harriets, that's why I created Your Sales Co as a training enablement organization. And that meant that I could, rather than getting me, you got me to come in and help create your team and create great salespeople within the team. And that's what we've been doing for the last 5.5 years. When we then decided to create this, was the market was asking us to do this for them. Everybody that I was running training with was like, this is awesome. We saw a great impact for the team. We were seeing results growing, but they were still lacking in this prospecting piece of nurture and development and relationship building and adding value. And so what we decided to do was we ran this lead development as a service in conjunction with a vendor as a paid proof of concept. So it was under wraps. We didn't tell many people about it. They didn't tell many people about it because they were trialing something in their organization. And so we were able to spend 3 months honing and creating and developing and really looking deep in terms of what leads are we being given, how can we develop them further, what are we seeing success with, how do we get more of these, how do we do this better, quicker, faster. And it was amazing because we were able to hone in on all the messaging and targeting and scripting and processes. And we were able to help the vendor in following up on old leads. So we got this old lead list, 500 leads, all old. When I say old, as in 12 months old, with I remember the code being disqualified, no op on a lot of them, or no contact or no response. And I remember the first week delivering training for the team that we had to deliver this proof of concept. And I remember going through those calls and people answering and being surprised that we have finally called them and being open and receptive. And we booked a couple of meetings in that first day. And I double checked with the head of marketing to make sure that we had the right lead list because we'd seen success. And although I know we're good at what we do, it was the fact that the premise of the leads we've been given were lower. It was like, oh, these are they're a bit stale. A lot of them disqualified, no ops. So let's just see what's in there. And again, it was proof of concept. So it was, will this work? And so from there, we were able to develop on that. And within the first 3 months of that client, we had 26 secured meetings or people attending a roundtable, which was amazing. And it blew their minds. And we were extremely happy with the results because we saw how happy the client was with those results. What we also found out was that within a couple of those prospects that we've been able to secure meetings for, is that they'd had large campaigns and large budgets allocated to campaigns that were focused on generating a meeting with that specific company. And we were doing that in the first few days. So we knew we were onto something there. We then were able to hone some of the messaging, get more collateral, get more insight. Then we had new events coming. So now we were getting fresher leads. We were getting leads from trade shows and people that had scanned and spoken at booths. And we were able to tailor the process and the communication to generate more meetings. And by the second quarter, because we'd continued through, we'd seen that across the engagement for those first 156 days of what we tracked, we were able to generate 63 meetings. And that was insane to see because we were able to see that across a fairly low volume of leads in comparison to what we were expecting to see. But we were able to convert a high volume of those into meetings, which is where the number of 63 came from. And what we were able to showcase there is that every lead is an opportunity, and it may take 1 or 2 or 10 attempts to get them across the line. But I know from selling is that I've won some of the best deals that have taken me 18 months, that have taken me 2 years, that have taken me 6 months. But if I just tried once and they said no, and I put disqualified no op, then I just keep going and going and going and going. And then, like, we all know the first touch point's hard. We all know that first outreach is, who's this? What's it about? What's going on? When we do the second and the third and the fourth, and each time we're adding value and we're educating, the impact and the likelihood of a conversion into a meeting is much higher. So within those 156 days of those couple of clients, we built the system, we created the outreach strategy, we created something that was scalable and repeatable, and the messaging flowed, and we were able to tweak that for each lead source. We handled that daily outbound, very much focused on calls. We don't email, we don't LinkedIn. We email to send through confirmation, but we don't do outreach via email because anyone can do that. Marketing team are fine with that. We can use bots for that. We can use AI and different automations for that. The businesses want calls. They want people to be engaged with. They want meetings to be generated. And so what we were able to see in that real results that have been reported back was, we've obviously got those large volume of meetings booked, but we were able to see that one of those clients reported that we generated over double the amount that their internal SDRs had generated using an inbound list as well. And that for me tells me that this service is definitely needed. I mean, it generates the results, but for me, I'm only going to do stuff that generates outcomes. I'm not in this business to do something because it makes me feel good or because I enjoy the sound of my own voice. I do it because I want to see the results, because I know the results are there. I know they are available to everybody. And so when we see the volume of meetings being booked, and then we then see the expectation being much lower, but then we then see their internal systems and teams are generating half the volume that we are, and our requirements for call connections is way lower than what I would say it is for an internal person. Maybe they don't have the framework, maybe they don't have the right training, and that's obviously something that we can support with and look at. But we're also looking at, is there something else they could be doing? Is there a better utilization of their time? Also, for businesses that struggle to maintain an SDR team and an LDR team, it's hard. It's very different to managing a sales team and a senior sales team at that. So we then had those bookings. We had obviously double the amount of meetings booked by our team versus an internal team. Awesome. We then had a client that reported 1.1 million in pipeline, and that was the clear attribution from meetings generated. And that was based on the lowest expectation of value of the deal that could potentially result from that. So that was 1.1 million in pipeline, and that was basing it on the lowest value of deal that could be converted. And then we had a return on investment of 1,497% from a client that had worked with us for 6 months. And there your ROI, because everyone talks about, oh, we can do this, we can get this, we can get this. But what does that actually mean to you? Because when I get asked around, if we generate pipeline, well, what closed? Well, the client didn't want close, they wanted pipeline. The close is based on another team. If I've got someone that wanted revenue and they're like, cool, but how many meetings got generated? Don't know, because the goal was focused on revenue. So remember that everybody's got a different goal, and the goals here that we're focusing on were all to do with pipeline generated and meetings generated. And so that's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on converting leads, existing or new, into meetings, and those meetings will then convert into opportunities, and then that's focused on the sales team to then close them. And so a couple of takeaways I want to share from here is that targeting and messaging still matter. They still exist. They're still extremely important. Consistency wins. We know that by consistently attempting to reach out, following up, following a consistent process, we will generate the results that we need. And it may take longer than you expect. It may not happen at call one, but if they're not ready at call one, don't ask for it at call one. Ask for it at call 10. Ask for it once they've checked out something about you, a report, a webinar, they've come to an event. And so the right follow-up processes turn meetings into revenue, and clients want you to own the process. They want to be felt like they're taken on a journey, and you need to know how to listen and engage and never give up. And don't look at it as a lead, as that's a crap lead or a good lead or not a lead. Every lead is an opportunity. And so my theory and my motto is never let go. And that's what we've built in, and we've brought into this LDR as a service, because we know it's what generates real results. And here's just a few of them from the last 6 months. So I hope it's been interesting to hear more about it. If you've got questions about how we deliver it and want to know more behind the scenes, I'm happy to share. You can absolutely reach out to me. I will pop a connection link in the show notes, as well as my LinkedIn. If you want to come out and have a chat, you can reach out to me or anybody within the team, and be more than happy to share or answer a couple of your questions if you've got anything. But otherwise, I hope it's giving you a bit of motivation to get calling and maybe get your team more engaged, or look at the way that marketing are leveraging those leads and engaging with them as well. As always, happy selling.